Yo, So Sick Nash fan back, and this time I am going to show you how to get that young counter hit in 2025. Now, this is going to apply to each and every fighting game that you play. Today's examples will be Grand Blue, Street Fighter 6, and of course, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. Now, make sure if you like this video, please give your boy a subscribe on the channel, but let's go on and get into it. So today I'm going to show y'all how to get that counter hit no matter when your opponent is pressing buttons. Everybody presses buttons at different timings, so it's very hard sometimes to establish, does this person just like to mash automatically when I get on their block with something plus, or do they delay, or do they fuzzy mash? Like, it's a lot of options that your opponent could choose, and sometimes it can get a little tricky, especially for new and upcoming players to get into the game because they just cannot counter hit their opponent. Well, first and foremost, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find some plus frame attacks. So with Vera, it's going to be her plus, she's going to have a stand light that's +4, and she's going to have a quarter circle back special move that's also +2. So now that we see this +4, we can play around with that frames, right? So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to see her other buttons and how they're going to line up with that +4. So her stand medium is a 6-frame attack, so that means it's going to come out at 2 frames, so it's going to be a really fast frame trap, right? And if you press her H, it's 8, so you already know that's going to be 4, so it's going to be a little slower, but it's still going to frame trap them for pressing a button 1020%. So because you know this, let's make her mash real quick. Now this game's training mode is really good because you can add the delay of when you want them to press the button, etc. So this is going to be a 0 frame, so they're going to press the button immediately when I press my stand jab, right? So I'm gonna press my medium, bam, you see a counter hit. Now everybody is not gonna press their button immediately, right? So if I do this, bam, counter hit. So because we know everybody's not gonna press their button immediately, we add a little bit of delay. Let's go and add the 5-frame delay, right? So when I did it that time, they did not get hit because they are pressing their button late. So their button is probably coming out during the block stun of my medium. So let me try my stand H. Again, nothing came out, meaning they are pressing it so late that they are in block stun. So you are gonna have to add a little bit of a delay to hit them. Bam, you see that? Now I added the perfect delay that time. I missed it a couple times, but I added the perfect delay. Now I'm gonna show y'all with the H. Too much? Perfect. So I got their timing down. Once I got their timing down, I was able to counter hit them. Now you can also do a micro walk to try to help for your staggers as well, to try to get that counter hit. You do a little micro walk. Right there, perfect. You see in the micro walk, I was able to still get that counter hit. And sometimes you add in a little micro walk because a lot of players are actually like visual players. They look for little cues during the match. So because they look for the little cues, when they see you walk up, they feel like a throw is coming. And it's like, nah, bruh, it's not a throw. So that is a huge thing, to like add little visual cues, add little whiffs in your gameplay, so they see the little whiff jab and then you throw. Now they're conditioned. Now you whiff a jab, you neutral jump, damn, they tech throw, bam, you hit them. So like adding those little micro steps is like really good. But if you add too much of a micro step, sometimes they go for something a little slower, they will hit you, as you just saw. So this is a very important tool, and it also works in multiple fighting games. So let me show y'all a little bit about Street Fighter 6. All right, so I wanted to show y'all an example on Street Fighter 6 as well of how to get that counter hit. Now it's going to be the same concept. Now the thing is, over here, fastest buttons are going to be like 4-frame buttons. So Chun-Li is going to have that stand medium punch that's going to be +1. So I'm going to want to take my advantage with her stand jab, because I know for the counter hit, if I get a stand jab, I'm gonna get a low forward, right? So mentally, because I know the reward I'm gonna get, I'm going for this specific frame trap, this specific counter hit setup. Same with Vera. I went for stand medium. I got a crouch medium on counter hit. I went for her stand H. I got another stand H on counter hit. So if Chun-Li counter hits after this, she's going to get a jab. And on counter hit, she can link a crouch and medium kick. So that is what I'm fishing for. So on this game, same thing, similar. You can make the opponent press a button when you want to. So I'm going to make him hit his crouching light punch. And you just saw that I counter hit him with the stand medium punch into the jab, into the low forward, right? So now he's not going to want to press buttons. But like, let's say he presses his buttons late. So you can add the delay. You can actually add the delay. And I can make him press it at 5 frames, just like in Grand Blue, right? So now it's a 5-frame delay. And now you saw that he was still blocking after this. So I got to add a bit of a delay. Like that. That little slight walk up made my opponent think, hey, he might try to throw me. I'm a press. Guess what? He still got counter hit. And that is like the art to find the timing of your opponent. Now, some people will not press right there, meaning that you can just walk up to them after the plus frames and throw them, or go for another stagger. However, if they hit their buttons even later, you can even press slower buttons like a crouch and fierce for Chun-Li. So later will probably be around maybe 7 to 10 frames. And you see I just got the counter hit. Now, while that might not be real, because I'm only +1, it is real against that specific opponent because they are pressing their buttons later. So this is clutch information. So now let's move over to Fatal Fury. Let me show y'all something. All right, so let me show y'all a couple of examples in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Now, the problem with Fatal Fury is the training mode is not as crispy as Street Fighter 6 and Grand Blue. So I'm not going to be able to add those like delay frames to the button to see if they can hit me on the 5th frame. I'm not going to be able to do that over here. However, what I will show you is from the computer doing it on me and me doing delays, so you could basically see how I would like adjust to the situation. So with Hotaru, we're going to do her stand D feint, which is going to be +4, and then we are going to hit a crouch and C, which is 8 frames, so it's going to hit at the 4th frame. Now the fastest buttons in this game are going to be 4 frames. So Hotaru does have a 4-frame jab, so that is going to be like the fastest button in this game. So I'm going to be able to frame trap because of button priority. So if I do this and I press, I'm going to get counter hit every single time, right? But like, let's say I press my button a little later, you don't see anything coming out. Nothing comes out, right? So I'm going to, as the Hotaru player, have to do either a slower button or I'm going to have to make you whiff. So I'm going to do a slower button. I'm going to do her far C, which is 9 frames. So it's going to hit at the 5th frame, right? So if I mash immediately, I'm going to hit her every time because I'm still going to beat her out because of the 4th frame. And she's hitting me on the 5th frame. But if I delay my button, I'm going to get counter hit every time. So it's about playing around with the frames. Don't always go by the perfect frame and try to beat somebody out. Because sometimes people don't press buttons on a perfect frame. Sometimes people press buttons a little later. So you got to play around with that frame data, baby. So do slower buttons sometimes when you're at advantage. Because if it hits, then you know your opponent is mashing a little later. This applies in every single fighting game, especially all of the 2Ds. Now, if y'all would like me to make a 3D version of this, I can as well, because I have a lot of experience in Tekken, Soul Calibur, and Dead or Alive. So let me know in the comments if y'all would love to see the same thing, but just in 3D. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Until next time, YouTube, peace.